Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Another game from round one of Dortmund Chess 2015, one of the top tournaments in the world. It's been going on for years. Kramnik has won quite a few in a row. This game though, white is Nisipeanu and black is Wesley So. Now normally I don't say at the beginning of the game what's going to happen, but I'll tell you the truth. I've never seen Wesley So get dismantled so badly. Let's get to it. It's going to be a closed Sicilian. I think I should try to play as a closed Sicilian as well. I don't like playing against a Sicilian, even though I like to play e4. So maybe this opening is for me. Bishop, check. We'll go through the opening here. It's fairly standard stuff. d3, reinforcing the e4 pawn. Tiny minute advantage for black, we'll call it even. e6. According to the computer, that's the last book move. Now, computer likes queen e1. Also likes bishop e3, a4. They're all pretty close in score. Nisipeanu, I think, was going for it. He wants to open up position. He goes f5. Here we go. Is black in a castle queenside? I don't know. Let's see. Pick on bishop to e3. That's the computer's choice. Then the knight comes out. But he decided to go f5. Knight. Give me an idea what would have happened if he had taken. Pawn takes. Knight comes out. F takes. H takes. Knight e4. Small advantage for black. Opens it up a lot. After knight d7, f takes, knight g5. Even though it's a tiny advantage, I kind of like white a little bit. Black is pushed way back. White has a ton of space. And it traps the king in the center of the board. It can't castle. Black can't castle. Because if the rook goes here, knight goes here. So it temporarily keeps the king in the center of the board. Knight to e5. Knight to b5. Interesting there. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be black here, even though it's a 3/4 advantage for white. Black seems to be on his heels. Queen takes. Interesting might have been castles long. Then after d4, queen takes, d takes, bishop takes. With a 3/4 pawn advantage for white. Decided to play with the queen instead. I don't think that was the most accurate move. Now that knight gets on e6. So black is up a piece, but it's not very comfortable. I mean, look at the threats here. We got knight check here, win the queen. This bishop's in pre. It's a mess. King to d7 gives up the bishop. So it really wasn't a piece sacrifice. h5. Now he's going to try to corral that knight. Let's see how he does. a4. Queen comes back. a5. Queen goes to b5. And now he goes c4. He's just pushing the envelope. Queen's got to retreat again. And of course, Nisipeanu goes with b4. Open up the position. Open it up. You can see what's coming. Pawn takes. Pawn hits the knight. Knight moves, we'll say. This pawn comes up. This queen's right here. He's got a hell of an attack on him, but it's only about a point advantage. Bishop to f4 was the computer's choice. Then after rook to g8, d4. Kind of the same thing, but that bishop's now in play on the king. After b4, rook to h7. He's got to get that knight back. Pawn takes. Rook takes. Now, I think most of us would probably play pawn takes pawn and start shoving the C, D, and E pawns up. Just as cool as a cucumber, he goes rook f6. Nice. Nice indeed. Knight to c8. And look at this. One of black's defenders is gone. And knight, which is usually a very good defender. Now we're only on move 20. And look at black's king. And this is Wesley So. This is no chump. Wesley, by the way, just recently came to the U.S. Federation. So now he plays for the U.S. Fabiano Caruana plays for the U.S. And, of course, my buddy Carl Nakamura, American, plays for the U.S. And I'll tell you, as a U.S. citizen and a chess lover, I'm excited. And I just found out, I saw that they have Millionaire Chess in Las Vegas this October. Now, I went last year. Even though I had some problems with it, and I kind of got a little harsh. I was a little harsh to Maurice Ashley, but it's a great tournament. And here, where you're going to see on U.S. soil in an open tournament, Nakamura, Caruana, and So. And there's a whole bunch of other GMs. I hope I should say Maurice, excuse me, and his partner, I believe her last name is Lee, they do really well, because it could be really, really big. And I think it's good for chess. Anyway, enough of that. What'd you do here as white? D4, of course. Start pushing those pawns. Knight to G4. Give you an idea if he had taken the pawn. Queen F1, B5, pawn takes en passant, pawn takes, rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, queen takes, C takes, knight to D6, or takes D6, queen to B4, and look at that scenario. After knight to G4, computer likes rook to F8, and I kind of do too. With somehow white needs to get that queen in the action. Goes rook to F3. Just leaving the E4 pawn in pre. Now, you're black. Would you take that pawn? I don't know. Your king's awful exposed. That knight on C8 is helping the king a little, but he decides to take it. And that was a mistake. It's almost a 2.5 point advantage now for white. I don't think I've seen So this creamed, is lack of a better term. Computer like D takes, H3, Queen D6, pawn takes, Queen takes, Bishop E3, Queen takes, Rook takes, King E6. It's still bad for black. It's like a choice. You get poked in the eye with a sharp stick or get poked in the eye with a dull stick. This one was the dull stick. I think Wesley chose the sharp stick. H3, D takes, check, discovered check. King has to move. And it's just a disaster from here on. Pawn takes. I mean, everything is bad. Queen to C6 is the best move the computer can come up with. There's knight to E7, just a natural human move. Try to cover your king. And this is a move I wouldn't have saw. I think almost all of us would have probably played rook to E3. And the computer shows none of those. But Nisipeanu found the move, queen to F1. Of course, now there's all kinds of threats going on here. Threatening to win the rook for free in the corner on A8 with check. Has to move the rook. Here comes the bishop now. Now the other rook can swing over either to here or here, depending. Black is doomed. Pawn takes. Doesn't really care. He goes rook to E1, and that's where Wesley So, on move 28, I might add, resigns. World-class player. Nisipeanu's no chump either. He's rated 2654. I rarely see Wesley get just absolutely outplayed like that. Give you an idea what would have happened. Queen has to take the rook. It's the best move. Queen takes, pawn takes, bishop F6. It's over. So there you are, another game from round 1 of Dortmund 2015. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank all my new subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And as I always say in all my videos, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.